from Bishopstone Yarns. I'd like to welcome you all here to episode 23 of Bishopstone Yarns podcast. And as I was saying, I'm Kathy, and I'd like to welcome you here. You find me here in the corner of my studio, and I'm coming to you from Tasmania, which is the little island to the south of Australia. And it is Monday, July the not 23rd, it's the 18th. The 18th of July today. It's Monday, and we are having a really cold snap here at the moment in Tasmania. While I know that people in Europe, especially in the UK, are having a really hot time at the moment. They're kind of, I think the UK is expecting to get up to 40 degrees Celsius. I think we were 4 degrees this morning, and then I think the next couple of days we're going to get down to 0. So for us, that's a bit of a cold snap. I mean, we do, Tasmania does get into the minus degrees, but not so much where we live near the coast, but on the kind of central part of Tasmania, it usually gets quite cold, snow in winter. But it is definitely sweater weather at the moment. So wherever you're coming from and watching this from, I hope that you're either keeping cool or keeping warm. So it sounds like there's a lot of extreme weather going on at the moment. So I hope everyone is looking after themselves and keeping well. Now, if you're a new viewer, welcome. It's really great to see you here. If you're a returning viewer, hi. It's good to see you again. I hope you have fun kind of joining in along today. And I hope everyone has some time to sit down, relax, do a bit of crafting, and and join in and see what I've been up to in the last week or so. And I should probably let everyone know where you can find me on around the internet. So you can find me as Bishopstone Yarns on Facebook. You can find me as Bishopstone Yarns on Instagram. And if you're on Ravelry, which is the online knitting site, you can find me as Bishopstone. And I also have a blog on Blogger called Bishopstone Yarns, but I haven't really, I don't always update it. So I used to use it quite a bit, but I don't use it quite so much. But I still have that, so you can also find me there. So that's it really. And now you can find me here on YouTube. So if you like this video, give it the thumbs up and the like, and if you haven't subscribed, it would be great if you could subscribe, because that kind of helps me out and helps other people find this video as well. So hopefully people can find something of interest in the video. And of course, leave your comments. I love hearing other people's comments. I love hearing what other people are up to, what they're making, what they're thinking, and things like that. So welcome. And I guess we should get started. So I think I'll start with what I'm wearing. So this is my Maria apron. I'll show you the pattern. So this is the Maria apron by Maven Sewing Patterns. And it is an apron with it doesn't show you on the picture here, but it has a crossover back on it and pockets. I must say, even though I'm claiming this as a finished object and I'm wearing it at the moment, I haven't put the pockets on yet. The pockets are curved, and I showed them in my last kind of knitting podcast, which was like 2 weeks ago. And they are curved around the edges, and so I haven't pressed those or ironed those and sewn them on yet, but I will get around to doing that. And as I was saying in the last knitting episode, I was having trouble here with the straps because when I put the facing on, which I can just turn over a bit here, so there's a little bit of material facing here underneath. When I put that on, I sewed all the way across and around and just put all the facing on, and then I realized afterwards that I was supposed to put the straps on and then put the facing, sew the facing on at the back, which I didn't do. So that was a problem at the front and the back of the apron. And I think in the last time I was talking about, I was thinking about attaching these straps over the front and having them as a bit of a feature here at the front, which actually looked quite nice before I sewed them. And then when I started to work on it, I kind of thought it didn't look quite as good as I thought it was going to. I had envisaged that I would put it over the top and put a little button there as a little highlighter. But in the end, I just tucked them in at the back and sewed them on. And I must admit, after I've did such a lovely job here with my edging around here and around under the arms and everything, I was really disappointed actually when I put the straps on. I'm not happy with my sewing here. I'm not happy with how it looks. And I found it, I must admit, I did find it a little bit tricky getting them both even and then sewing. I was just thinking I would just sew a little rectangle on each side and that would finish it off and look really nice. But for some reason, I just found it quite difficult to get them even and neat. So then I thought about whether or not I should unpick them and do it again, or whether or not I might end up just putting a little bit of material or something, just a little highlighter there. I had thought about embroidering something or doing something like that, but then I thought that'll take quite a while. So then I thought maybe I could just highlight it, because originally when I was going to put the straps at the top, I wanted to put a big bright button there just to add a bit of colour, but I thought a little fabric patch might be enough just to kind of hide my horrible stitching there. So yeah, I mean, I'm really happy with the apron, and it's a little bit hard to show you. I wasn't particularly happy either with the way when I attached the straps at the back. So the back of the apron has crossover straps like this, and because I had the same problem that I had here with the front straps that I had sewn through the facing on and didn't have the gap for putting on the straps. When it came to attaching the straps at the back, I was left with a little point at the end, so they didn't match up exactly to the body. And even though it looks okay because it's even on both sides, so it looks exactly the same, but I kind of, yeah. So, I mean, I should have read the pattern a little bit more, gone a bit slower, and not raced ahead without reading the pattern. But I do have another one of these. I'm saying that when I bought the material for this, I also bought some blue material for my daughter. So when my daughter makes her one and we make it together, and hopefully I'll get my sister-in-law advice as well, who is absolutely a fantastic sewer, and yes, so I've made all the mistakes on this one for me, and then hopefully the one that we make for my daughter will be, yeah, I'll know where not to go wrong and where to spend a bit more time on doing things. So, but apart from that, I'm really happy with it because this is a great apron to be wearing for spinning. It's a fantastic spinning apron. The only thing I was disappointed in, it's a little hard to show you here, but the material is quite see-through. Yeah, I can't really show you, but it's quite see-through. I actually, when I bought it, I don't know why. I guess in the shop it didn't. Just trying to see if I could show you, if you can kind of maybe see a little bit that it's kind of, anyway, it is a little bit lighter and thinner than I was hoping for with a linen. This is linen, and I was hoping for something a little bit sturdier, a little bit thicker, but that was my fault for not really looking at it particularly much when I was in the shop. But apart from that, I'm really happy with it. It'll be a fantastic spinning apron, or just kind of wool preparation, or yeah, it covers me well, it just slips over my head, and I'm really happy with it, even though I'm not happy with the straps, but that's me, that's not the pattern. So yeah, so at least I have finished something at the moment. For those people who have seen my last couple of podcasts, you'll know that it is, because it's July, it is the Tour de Fleece, which is run by Ravelry, which is the online knitting website. So Tour de Fleece is a kind of a little bit over 3 weeks. It runs from July the 1st to July the 24th. And it is a spinning event, online spinning event, that runs and coincides with the Tour de France cycling race. And what we do is you can join up, you can join a team, you can just join a group of friends, or you can just be a cheer squad. And you, for every day of the racing, you spin as well. And so because some days the cyclists are going up mountains, riding up mountains and hills, so that's a bit of a challenge day. So then you could set a little bit of a challenge for yourself on those days if you want to. There are a couple of rest days, like today is a rest day in the tour. So instead of spinning today, I'm hoping to card up lots of bats. But because from the 1st until the 24th, I have been spinning every day and posting photos, so you can go on to Ravelry and have a look at Tour de Fleece. You can go on to Instagram and Facebook. There are Tour de Fleece 2022 photos up there if you use those hashtags. You can see what everyone's been doing, and there are lots of lovely photos up there about people spinning in the Northern Hemisphere. So, of course, a lot of people spinning outside in the sunshine, and it looks just absolutely glorious. Whereas I'm stuck inside here in my craft room with the heater on, trying to keep warm while spinning. And so it's not really all that conducive to night for me, for nighttime spinning. Before we moved house, I used to have my spinning wheel in the lounge room, and I would often just spin of an evening while I'm watching TV. But now I have my spinning wheel and my drum carder set up in my studio. So it's not quite the same. I'm either sitting by myself out here and spinning with the heater on, trying to keep warm. And I just feel like I'm much happier to spin during the daytime and then just go and knit of an evening in the lounge room where it's warmer and cozier. So it's been a little bit of a change for me in that way, because this is the first tour de Fleece I've done in our new house. And so just getting used to a new setup and a new area, and also remembering actually how much time Tour de Fleece takes up, because even though you say, okay, I'm going to be spinning every day, and there's no set time, you don't have to say, don't have to be spinning for a particular time. I'm trying to get in, at least an hour and a half of spinning, which sounds fantastic, but actually that hour and a half of spinning, actually a lot of my time is also spent with carding because I've got some raw fleece, raw wool fleece and raw alpaca fleece, so I'm carding those up. So it's taking me a lot of time to do the carding, and then when it comes around to the actual spinning time, I don't have as much spinning time as I normally would have, so my progress has been a lot slower. Which means that everything else that I've been doing, I've had less time to do anything else, like my knitting and my sewing and things like that. And I've been trying really hard to do a little bit of everything, but it's just, I think until the 24th, it's just going to be spinning most of the way. And then anything else I can fit in is a bonus. So I have been doing some other things, and I have finished some things. So I'll show you what I've been up to. And for those people who've been watching before, you know that I have been on a bit of a sock knitting journey. I have just been, I've knitted a pair of socks for my husband, a pair for myself, a second pair for myself, and then I started a third pair. So what I had done was, I think I had been knitting these socks here, which were from, let me just get myself organized here, sorry. So this was knit out of, oh, it's very shiny, sorry, trying to get it to there. I don't know if that's going to work. I'll just read it to you. So this is Wisdom Yarns. It's poem socks, and they are machine washable. They are, there's 420 meters and 100 grams, and just looking for the oh yes, 75% superwash wool and 25% nylon. And this is in the colorway Pumpkin Patch. So the picture on there is not, obviously not Pumpkin Patch, but the colorway that I have is Pumpkin Patch. And what had happened was I had knitted a pair of socks in this wool, and the color repeat is a very, very long color repeat. So this was one pair of socks just knitted straight from one start of the ball, knitting through. And so as you can see, the socks were not matching at all. Now, one of the viewers has suggested that maybe if I just knitted another pair of socks, I might end up with a more matching pair as well. So I have finished my second pair. Where are we? There we go. So there is the second pair of socks, and then I'll just compare them to the first pair, see if I've got the equivalent matching. So this one, and this one would be the equivalent matching. So they're still not equally matching. I thought there may have been slightly more of a kind of a match up. I think the match is here. If you can kind of see the colorway repeat, it kind of starts about there, but they're a lot closer than these two socks. So what I might do is end up having, nope, wrong one. I might end up having these two as one pair, and then I will have these two as my other pair. And I feel a little bit like these seem to match up a little bit more. Maybe it's just because it's got the orange in there and you can see two repeats of the orange. There's a lot less brown in this pair. So I think these ones will match up really, really well. They do look like a pair, a matching pair in the colorway. And whereas this one, these two both have a lot of brown in them, and it's just a shame that this one here doesn't have just that little bit more green at the top, because then even if it was just a few more rows of green at the top, then I think these two would have been looked a lot more matching. But I think they're quite good. It's quite good in terms of compared to how they were, the initial pair. I have ended up with two pairs of socks. Well, yeah, two pairs of socks that are fairly matching. Oh gosh, which way am I turning this way? That are fairly matching, which is I'm quite happy with that. I'm quite happy with how it's worked out. I'm a little surprised at the sock wool having such a long color repeat, especially for sock yarn, because this is poem socks, so it is sock yarn. Usually sock yarn has a shorter color repeat for that simple reason, so you can knit one sock and a second sock and get a similar-ish looking colour in your socks. But yeah, it's interesting. It's interesting because it's the first lot of sock yarn that I've come across that's had such a really long sock repeat, colour repeat in the socks. So what I used is, these are the needles that I used. Yep, will it? No. Is it going to? There we go. So these are some double pointed bamboo needles, 2mm needles that I was using. So I knitted top down, and I did a 1x1 rib. I cast on 62 stitches, did a 1x1 rib, and then I just used the heel out of this one, the Unapologetic Knitter, my favourite vanilla socks. I used the heel flap out of this pattern, and then I just continued on the foot with a 1x1 knitted rib for the top of the foot and a plain for underneath the foot. If I can, maybe I can show you here. So if you can see, I've got the 1x1 rib on the top of the foot and then just plain on the bottom. The heel that I used, oops, I don't know if it's going to focus or not here on it, but it you start and end each row with 3 knit stitches before going into your slip 1 knit 1 heel. And I find that having the extra three knit stitches here on the start and the end makes it a lot easier to pick up when you're picking up your heel flap to continue on. I find it makes it really easy to pick up your stitches. So very happy with those socks. And I think I will, that's my 4th pair of socks in a row that I have knitted at the moment. So I think, even though while I've been knitting these, I have come across some more yarn, I think I will wait and knit something else before I knit another pair of socks. But then again, I might end up just starting another pair of socks. And this is all that I have left over of the yarn from 100 grams from making 4 socks. So I was quite happy with that as well, considering that when I knitted 1 pair from this, whoops, where are we? From the jigsaw, that's how much I had left over from that ball of wool. So it's always nicer to end up with only a small amount than a big amount. So that's it for the socks. And then one of the other things I had been talking about knitting was I wanted to knit myself another shawl, scarf type shawl, to wear out because it's winter, going out walking, it's really nice to have another scarf. And I had finished the ancient gemstone shawl and out of my hand spun, and it's really lovely and warm, and I really like it, but I am wearing it all the time. So I thought it would be nice to knit another kind of shawl type thing out of my hand spun, because I do have a lot of my hand spun around and I do need to use it. So I went through my patterns and I found a pattern. Now I'm going to have to look at this, and even though I used to be able to speak Danish, my Danish pronunciation is terrible now. So I apologize to all Danish people out there who may be watching. And so this is a recreation. This is a shawl that is a recreation made from a Bindusjat shawl from 1897, which was displayed in, oh gosh, forgive me here, Vendsyssel, Vendsyssel, in the Historical Museum in Denmark. And the name of the shawl, I'm actually just going to read it out. So it is K-A-E, which is joined together in Denmark, L-L-I-N-G-E-S-J-A-L. Kaellingesjal, maybe. And it is by Mette Rorbech. Yes, anyway, I will put links to it in the bottom because you don't want to hear me mangle up my Danish at all. So this is the, I can't even get it to focus. My camera does not want to focus. Anyway, if you're on Ravelry, you can find it on Ravelry, and as I said, I'll put a link in it in the show notes below. So I chose some purple. For those people who know me, that is not going to be any surprise whatsoever. So, whoop, see, my camera is not wanting to focus at all today. So this is my multicolored purple, and it actually is a bit more pinker than it's showing up actually on the camera. Now, for those people who watch my sit and spin podcast, this is the wool and silk that I had spun up on. I was spinning up and plying up on my spinning videos. Maybe if I try to show you down here a little bit more. So the actual lilac-y color is the wool, and the kind of blue or grey purpley color is the silk. And I had been explaining that I had spun this up on my e-spinner, and I haven't really used the e-spinner a great deal. So I found that when I came to plying this, I felt that it was underplied. So I wanted to use this for something that wasn't going to be used under a lot of tension, because there wasn't, I didn't feel like there was enough twist in it. I didn't want it to be like something that was going to be constantly taken on and off. So a shawl is a really great thing because I can add a little bit of twist as I'm going when I'm knitting it, and the silk in it will actually give it the extra strength as well. So it's the perfect use for a yarn that I absolutely love the feel of it and the color of it, and I'm just a little bit disappointed that it's a little underplied. So I have started knitting on this. So I have started on the border. So here we go. I'll show you the, whoop. So this is the start of the border, and if you can kind of understand, you start down here and you just work your way kind of up through the border until it's as long as you want, and then I guess I will be picking up stitches and knitting the main part of the shawl. But it's absolutely gorgeous. I don't know if I can show you a little bit closer up. A nice open weave, and yeah, I'm really happy with it so far. I think it'd make actually quite a nice little collar on something as well. But yes, no, I'm really happy with it. I'm really happy with how it's knitting up, and it'll be quite interesting once I start knitting the shawl. Of course, these color gradients will be a little bit different because there'll be longer rows, so the color will change in a totally different way. But as it is at the moment, I'm really happy with it. It is a very easy, I think it's a 16 row repeat for each one of these little sections, which after a while, I mean, it can be a little bit boring, but I mean, it's easy to repeat and easy to do of an evening because there's not a lot of thinking that goes into it because the repeats are so easy. Hopefully the rest of the shawl will be as easy, and I think it will be. So yes. What else have I been doing? So that's it really for my knitting. I haven't really started any other knitting at the moment. I am still working on my farmer's wife sampler quilt, and because of spending so much time with my spinning, of course I haven't had much time for my sewing, but I have finished this piece here. Oh, I need something behind it. Let me see if I can pop this one behind it. That might be a bit better. Okay, there we go. So I have finished this one, and yes, look, I have, oh, where is it? I have made a mistake down here in this corner, and the windmill is not correct. So I don't know, do I take that little square out and turn it round, or do I leave it? This piece, even though it, I mean, I do like the finished look of it. I mean, the look of it is really nice, but the actual, there are so many tiny pieces in here. And the construction for this block was interesting, to say the least. You ended up doing each, well, you kind of made the top row and the bottom row, and then you made these four squares in the middle, then you added those together, then you added the top and the bottom and the sides, which doesn't sound very complicated, but at the time, with all the small pieces, it was really just kind of, wow. It was a bit of work, actually. It took me quite a while. This is probably why I made this mistake down. Oh, well, where are we? This side. I made this mistake down here. I can't believe I didn't notice that. I actually didn't even notice that until I took this along to quilting, and we had just, a few of us had decided that we would all work on the same block, because we were having a little bit of trouble putting it all together. So we all worked on the same block and brought it along. And then one of the ladies said to me, "Oh, you've got this block around the wrong way." I thought, oh, I didn't even notice. I was just happy that I had finished the block. So, well, that works quite well there as a little display board. And yes, I'm not sure at the moment whether I'll just leave it there and that can be my no one is perfect square, or whether it's going to annoy me and I just take it, that little square. That is a separate square, so I could just take that off, turn it round, and have it as it is. We will see. We will wait and see. But that's the only sewing that I have got done. So once the Tour de Fleece finishes, oh my gosh, look, sorry, getting little bits of cotton left on me. Once the Tour de Fleece finishes, I'm going to have to get back into the sewing and catch up on my my blocks for my quilt. So the other thing I have done a little bit of work on is this, which is 47 Lacey Street by Hugs and Kisses. Now, Hugs and Kisses, you've heard of me talk of before, is a Hobart, Tasmanian-based quilt designer, and she designs these absolutely gorgeous little bags. If you can, oh look, my camera is really struggling today in terms of focusing. And so it is made up of paper pieces, and all, well, I shouldn't say all that I've done, but I have actually, I've got a little box here, my little pieces in it. So I have been working at getting my pieces ready. So I have done quite a few pieces here and started on some of the little squares. So getting my little squares ready to start sewing. Now, the way I have done these is the way the Hugs and Kisses way. So I have cut out the little shapes, ironed them on, and then I use the little glue stick to stick these down, and then we'll be hand sewing them together. That's for one side of the bag. and then the other side will have the applique on it. But that's what I've been working on while I have been at my quilting group. I think that kind of also shows that I've been gluing and doing lots of talking at quilting. Otherwise, I guess you would have seen a lot more work done. But it's actually quite fun. I do like having a hand sewing project, and just keeping it in this little box is a really nice way to keep it all nicely ordered and everything. Yes, so that is about everything that I have been doing there. Just excuse me for a minute while I pick up some stuff here. So I have, of course, been doing all my spinning. So, and these are the, oh, lost it on my spinning wheel. Hold on. These two skeins, I have, whoop, where are we? Finished these two skeins. I haven't washed these yet. As you can see, they still have a strong sheepy smell, and I'm sure there's still a little bit of dirt in there, like dust and stuff from the alpaca and things like that. So these have been what I have been working so hard on. They're about a 5-ply. I have to wait until I've washed them and they've dried before I can before I'll actually work out exactly what ply they are, but hopefully they are a 5-ply or a sport weight. Let's see, here, oh dear, sorry. I have got another bobbin full, and I am starting on my other bobbin as well. And anyone who's seen any of my Tour de Fleece photos, you will know that it is just, looks like one photo after another of brown, 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 brown on bobbin, brown on a bobbin, because that's all it is. Now, what I'm wanting to do with all of this is make the knit the Birkin by Caitlin Hunter, which I have talked about. I talk about more in my Sit and Spin podcast, and the colours that I may or may not be using. So I'll talk about that more in my next episode, which the next podcast next Monday will be the end of the Tour de Fleece. So hopefully I will have, I was thinking hopefully I'll have enough yarn done for my jumper, but I'm not quite sure whether I will or not. And then I need to start thinking about dyeing and what colour I will or won't dye the yarn for the Birkin, so I can start knitting a jumper, and hopefully, I don't know, hopefully I will get that finished before this horrible cold weather ends. I'm sure I will, because it'll be quite a while before it gets warm down here. I'm just looking outside. It's actually getting worse outside. It's very grey and wet and not looking pleasant at all out there. So yeah, any sort of jumper will be great. The other thing, oh yes, there was something else I was going to talk about, wasn't there? I was going to talk about what have I bought. Well, should I talk about that? I think I should. Yes. Okay. Well, I went and bought online. Someone was selling locally in the city. Someone was selling some cross stitch material and bits and pieces. So I went and picked these up, and I was really happy because it was I got some black fabric, and with the black fabric came a packet of needles. And what have we got here? There were two of white, one of a kind of a not sure what you call this, a very, very pale grey. So this is DMC 762. The whites are blank. That's what it's called, BLANC, blank. Doesn't have a number. There were 2 blacks, so DMC 310s. So had 2 blacks and 3 greens, 6, 4, 7. And some thread, not quite sure, and some interesting little electronic pieces. So I had asked the lady that I bought these off whether or not she had a pattern or something she was going to use this material for, and she had said, oh, it was something to do with work and a logo for work or something. And these little electronic bits seem to be components that apparently can make your work light up. I'm not quite sure. I don't understand. I don't think I'll be using these electronic pieces, but I have never bought cross stitch before with little electronic pieces in it. So that was quite interesting. And of course it comes with this little bit of bobbin full of machine threading. So that was interesting. I did also buy, this is a kind of a cross between quilting and cross stitching. So let me come up really close. So this is by Blackbird Designs, and it is the Midnight Silhouette, which I had seen on Instagram and on FlossTube, and I was like, oh my gosh, I love that. And then when I bought it, I didn't realize that it is actually 68 by 84 inches, which is quite large. I was thinking, oh, this will be a lovely little wall hanging that I can make and put up for Halloween. So I'm going to have to play around with that. I'm either going to, my thought was either to just take the center panel and make that the wall hanging that I can hang up at Halloween time, or whether or not I can actually take the entire quilt and kind of downsize it a bit. Because I mean, I could downsize these stars, and I'm sure that I could take this section here and downsize it. There's quite a few options. I could take out a couple of rows of the stars up here. I could even just take all those stars out and just have the border up here. I don't know, there's a lot of different options, so I'll wait and see. But I really do, I love this, and I love the idea of having a little Halloween seasonal quilt up on the wall, because I have a little Christmas advent calendar that I made, and then I kind of thought it'd be nice to have a Halloween one, and then eventually somewhere down the track a little Easter one as well, or a spring kind of one. So yeah, so I got that. Oh, and I bought this from, oh gosh, isn't that terrible, local cross stitch sewing shop in Hobart called A Stitch in Time. And what else did I get from there? Well, I got some 32 count premium linen in Country French Rain. If you can see that through the plastic there. So this I was hoping will be a bit of a Halloween-y theme, so I can put some of my Halloween design cross stitch on there. I also got this one here, which is a 25 count lugana e-weave. I'm not sure what that is, and the color is Antique Violet. So yeah, my camera just is not wanting to work today, is it? Anyway, so I thought these two would be quite nice Halloween-y kind of colours and themes, and I did get some bright orange. So this is DMC number 720, because of course every Halloween needs to have a good orange, and even though I have a lot of colours, I didn't have a really good orange, so hopefully, you know, that would look quite nice on either of one of those. And of course I did buy some walnut shells, so 300 grams of the walnut shells here, which I've never used before, but I've got this because when I finish, excuse me, when I finish sweet pea, I want to use the walnut shells in the base of that. Just looking for a good tutorial to show me exactly how to add it in, whether I need to actually can just put it in loose, or whether or not it's best to have it like in a little bag or a little container in the base, so that you don't get little bits of that shell coming through the cross stitch material, because you don't really want it kind of falling out anywhere. So anyway, and of course I haven't done any work at all on my sweet pea because I've been spinning. But it is still there. She is sitting in her basket. You can't even see her because the light is shining on her, but that is sweet pea sitting there, reminding me that I need to work on her. And I think that's it. That is everything that I've been up to and doing. It's mainly been spinning, but it's good to have these little times in the year when you concentrate just on a certain project and get it done. And yeah, but then it does mean once it finishes I have to work even harder on catching up with some of my other things. Anyway, I'd like to say thank you very much for watching. Thank you for listening to what I've been up to and joining me here. I hope you've had a nice little crafting time, and if you like the video, press the like button, the thumbs up, and if you haven't subscribed, if you could subscribe, that would be great, and hopefully we'll see you next time. Bye.